Greetings, EDU 500 Methods of Research for the Summer 2017 semester. I am Mark Wolfmeyer, faculty in secondary education here at Kutztown University, and very pleased to be the instructor for your course and looking forward to getting to know you over the summer. This brief introductory video is going to lay out the course for you in terms of the assignments and the due dates, sort of give you the structure to the course, and introduce to you the major project that you will be working on throughout this summer. So essentially, we've got 2 due dates throughout each week. You've got things due on Tuesdays and things due on Saturdays. Saturdays are your research day. That is the deadline for the research assignments. The very first research assignment you have due this Saturday at 11:59 p.m. is a training for how to do research on human subjects. This is the ethics of research. You can find the instructions on D2L, and I want to make sure you note that you have an assignment due the very first Saturday of the course. Saturdays after that, you are going to be working in stages on designing a research proposal. In this course, you will not be executing original research. You will be writing a proposal to execute original research. So that proposal is broken down into sections, and we work through each section, and you have each section due on Saturdays at 11:59 p.m. On Tuesdays at 11:59 p.m., you have the weekly assignment that is due. The weekly assignment is related to a textbook reading and some other supplemental readings, and you are able to work ahead. You're able to work ahead on both the research project and the Tuesday weekly assignments. There's one thing you won't be able to work ahead on because you are relying on other students in the class. We are going to simulate peer review, which is a big part of the research process in educational research. And to do that, what you will need to do is wait until your peers have uploaded their drafts to then be able to provide the peer review. So there are 2 kinds of peer review that you will be engaging with. The one is public peer review. So every time that you submit to me a draft of a section of your research proposal, you will also share it with the class in a discussion area. And I'd like you to upload it as a file and include a question for specific feedback that you're looking for. This might be a question like, does my writing sound like scholarly research? Is my literature review, does it seem to present a variety of sources related to my topic? These are different examples of questions you'll pose for specific feedback to be provided in public throughout for the whole class to see. And then also we'll have private feedback. Private feedback is when you'll give detailed feedback for one peer. This is going to cycle through. You'll get to comment on everybody's as the semester goes along, and you will in that case, that is due the week after on Saturday at midnight. The public one, those are sort of ongoing deadlines. It's a class participation grade, so you have to sort of aim for 2 each week to comment on 2 other projects each week. But what is due the following Saturday is the private feedback. So let's talk a little bit about this research proposal. So in this course, we're talking about educational research. And if we had to kind of just generally describe what educational research is, there's 3 kinds of categories. And this is in a document called the Research Proposal Guidelines here on D2L. There's empirical studies, there's scholarly studies, and there's curriculum development. Scholarly studies are the kinds of things that investigate history and policy, and we won't be focusing on those types of scholarship in this. We're going to focus on research on human subjects, empirical studies. And within that, I've listed 3 categories for you. There's traditional education research, which typically involves hypothesis testing, quantitative methods, and comparing experimental and comparison groups. Possible research design in this category include quasi-experimental or correlational studies. Qualitative and mixed methods research is another category in which the research question is answered through analysis of a variety of data, such as classroom observations, interviews with teachers, parents, and students, or an analysis of student work. And then there's action research. So this is where a teacher generates a classroom-based problem, and an action research is an open-ended project that's phrased to generate a broad range of insights or understandings rather than to prove a specific point or to compare experimental or control groups. So really, in those last two categories are your main options. And as you start to think about this research proposal, if you're a classroom teacher, think about what's, one option you have for this proposal is to think about what has been a struggle for you in your teaching practice. What is something you'd like to intervene and then study the effects of? Is there some kind of new method you could try? This could be focusing on a particular kind of student in your class. It could be focusing on a topic area. It could be focusing on classroom environment. Think about your 4 domains of teaching effectiveness. And then another one is, let's say you wanted to do a more broader study. You wanted to interview different teachers on their approach. That would be the other category of qualitative and mixed methods education research, where you could have a question about classroom environment in the urban context, and for example, and you were to interview teachers and do a survey of urban teachers, something like that. So those are really your two main options, and all of them are, your main requirement is you'll need to design a project that researches human subjects, which is why you're beginning the course with the IRB training, which really teaches you about the ethics of research on human subjects. So I'm really excited about this course. Educational research is a passion of mine. I do a lot of it. I've linked in the About Me page, I've linked in a little bit of my research so you can take a look on what I'm doing, and I'm happy to talk about that, and I usually bring that up as I make comments on your research and reflect on my own experiences as a researcher. The main thing to take away from this video in conclusion here is that you've got due dates twice a week, on Saturdays and on Tuesdays. You can pretty much work ahead. I made the course available even before our semester begins so that you can get going. I know summer schedules are a little bit trickier, and that is totally fine. The only catch on that is that you will be assigned to respond to that private feedback to appear in your class, and it'll be bound to when they can furnish you with the draft of their proposal. So that's the one piece where you'll need to make sure that you can get those in on time. But other than that, you can work ahead and let me know if you have questions. The final thing to say is that we have a virtual office area. I'd really like you to post your questions there rather than privately over email, because chances are if you have a question, somebody else has it too. So it will be helpful to post them there so we can have a record of the conversations we've been having. Really looking forward to this course. Please let me know what questions you have and be in touch. Thanks very much for watching.